In 2006, 23-year-old Ilan Halimi was abducted by roughly 20 people and held hostage, tortured, outside of Bagno, in the low-income housing, apparently. I don't know why they felt the need to put that in there. 3 weeks after he disappeared, he showed up just south of Paris in Essonne, and he was naked, gagged, handcuffed, and clearly had been tortured. He died on the way to the hospital. Now, in 2011, a tree was put up to honor him, to memorialize him. Jews are bigger planting trees. And it got cut down. It was replaced. And it's just been cut down for a third time. And the politicians, of course, are saying all the correct things about, oh, it's horrible, you should not do this sort of thing, except France has made it very clear that it is perfectly okay to do that sort of thing. When you say that a Jewish woman's life isn't worth the same amount as a dog's, then yeah, you have basically given permission to your bigoted citizens to do this sort of thing. And since Europe and the UK have foolishly decided that importing terrorists is a good idea, and no, I don't think everybody who follows Islam is a terrorist. But as we so often have to point out, when there's 1.9 billion Muslims, even if just a fraction, 10%, 15%, are extremists, that's still going to be 300 million Muslims when there are 15 million Jews. Do the math. Vandalism, of course, is happening everywhere. Kitchen Designs by Idan found itself being defaced, vandalized with red paint because the owners of the store are Jewish. And amazingly enough, for a change, in the United States or Canada or any place really, they didn't have to force the police to accept the fact that it was a hate crime. They actually acknowledged it as one right away. This picture, other pictures of poor Palestinian children who are starving, except they're not. Because, as you can see, there are 12 primary pictures, other than the ones that you keep stealing from Syria and Yemen and others to say that they're children of Gaza when they aren't. Or you like to steal the pictures from the actual Holocaust and claim they're Palestinians. Again, I keep pointing out, if your cause was just, you wouldn't have to lie. The 12 pictures primarily seen by the media of these starving children all have problems with their health. Part of it is the fact that in Gaza, intermarriage is a big thing. So there's a very good chance that the parents of said child will be cousins. First cousins, second cousins, it's hard to tell. And the more that keeps happening, the greater Hasbrouck. Okay? The worse it gets, the worse the complications will come when you inbreed more. Rickets means you didn't let your kid out in the sun. Al Jazeera, the terrorist Tribune, finally pointed out that this offer was available. This offer has been available for well over a year. $5 million, free passage, and amnesty if you just tell us where a hostage is. Do you want to guess how many people of Gaza have received this reward? Even amongst the Nazis, folks, there were some people who had decency. Do you recall about 9 months ago, a person who worked at the UN, I'm sorry, I can't recall her name right now, openly stated within the UN chambers, 70% controlled by authoritarian countries. Amazingly, they don't mention what is the prominent religion in most of those countries, but let's leave that aside for the moment. They fired her because she said there's no genocide happening in Gaza. Most of the people who actually understand what the word genocide means and who study genocide say there is no genocide happening in Gaza. Nor was there a famine. However, in order to get the ability to try to punish Israel, the United Nations is changing the metrics for what qualifies as starvation. They're still not caring about Yemen. They still don't care about Syria. They still don't care about Sudan. None of those matter. But the Palestinians are probably now officially being considered in a famine. And again, the Hamas? Why should we care about the Hamas? What do they have to do with this? Oh, I don't know, but the UN also, one of their members wants Hamas to be considered a legitimate political party, because at the time, 20 years ago, when they got elected, the people of Gaza had a choice between two terrorist parties. And Hamas eliminated most of the actual people in the competing terrorist party. So everybody voted for Hamas. That's the sort of elections that Russia has. Or Iran. You know, the ones that claim they still have the mechanisms of a democracy, but haven't actually been a democracy for goodness knows how long. I mean, that was the last time Gaza even had an election. You got the bloated felon bitching at Zelensky for not having one while he's at war. But no one in their big concern about the people of Gaza remembers the fact that they chose terrorists 20 years ago. They elected terrorists. And yeah, to a large degree, I feel bad for the people of Gaza. They are pawns in a political situation. But unless the world, if they had listened to us 30 years ago when we said, do you see what is happening to the people of Gaza? They are being trained to be terrorists. And you ignored us. Now the terrorism is here. And you're ignoring it because it's still just happening to Jews, so it doesn't really matter, right? Right. But unless those people go through the same number of decades of unbrainwashing them to think that Jews are responsible for all their problems, and as I do so love to point out to bigots online, if your terrorists succeeded in their stated objective of the genocide of Israel and all Jews, who will you blame next for your, no doubt, many failures?